is the Conservative Colonel Podcast with Harrison Dawes, where one man stands against the rising tide of liberalism. This officer in the battle to preserve our nation is the Conservative Colonel.
Nothing ends here. Our hopes and our journeys continue.
And here's Harrison Dawes.
Welcome back to the Conservative Colonel Podcast. Oh gosh, that glare is awful. I'm your host, Harrison Dawes. I'm wearing my glasses tonight. I'm going to regret having this up. Oh gosh. Oh man. But definitely got an interesting show for you tonight. I can guarantee you this. I'm about to piss off half my viewers, maybe even more, but it's something that has to be done. Make sure to go check out conservativecolonel.com. You can message us there. And, of course, check out our store, the Great Conservative Allies, the Best of, and, of course, you can email us there. But also share out these episodes and leave a 5-star review. Our main platform is Spreaker, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Audible, Cashbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Listen Notes, and Good Pods. And the video format of the show is released on YouTube. A little bit behind this week. Just could not get to the recording studio, but this episode is going to be a weird one. So I had a plan to talk about the No Kings rally. And I still want to, because there's some interesting points that need to be pointed out. Some stuff that needs to be known. And I'm hoping Graves will join me in that. But when I started this show, one of the things I promised was to get news out to y'all, the listener, and be as truthful as possible, but also to stand up for conservative values and to call out people, Republican or Democrat, that I don't think are following those principles, and to call out people who have made mistakes, to call out people that I do not think this is in the best intentions. And tonight, there's one that I'm 100% against. Another one, while I'm 100% against it, I still have faith. And this is going to be a touchy subject tonight. I'm not even going to mince words with you. Tonight, I'm going to be criticizing President Donald Trump. I've voted for Trump 2 times. I voted for him in a mock election in 2016. I love Trump. I don't think I've made that any hidden secret. I was happy to vote for Trump. It felt like it wasn't one of those where, oh my gosh, we don't really have anybody to vote for, so I guess I'll vote Trump. I felt confident in Trump. We didn't agree on everything, but I knew he had America's best intentions at heart. And he's kind of shaken me this week. One of them, as I said, I'm hoping I'm wrong. The other one, I know I'm not wrong, and I know Trump has made a huge mistake, and we're going to call him out on it tonight. Again, I know this has the potential of upsetting my viewers. I know this has the potential to split the audience of the Conservative Colonel Podcast. I don't want to do that. But the truth, the Constitution, conservatism is more important than your comfort. Freedom is more important than your being comfortable. And tonight we're going to be talking about that. We have talked about on this show. I've described myself as a Jeffersonian, conservative. Think Tea Party, Ron Paul, Chris McDaniel, Thomas Jefferson. Think the foundation, Barry Goldwater. You know, I am that type of conservative, and I'm proud of it. And I've always described Graves as a Washington conservative. He's not a rhino. I wouldn't put him in that category. He's not one of the what I call modern Republicans. And there's historical terms for all these that I'm not going into tonight. I would say he's a Washington. It's kind of something that I have come up with, and Graves agrees. He is not on my level of craziness. Shout out to Graves, by the way. I hope you're listening, brother. But he's also not a deadgum liberal with an R by his name. He is a strong conservative. And I have put Trump in that category. As I said, Trump, in my opinion, sometimes has done stuff that helps the big government. Just going to say it like it is. But with the intention of clearing the swamp or doing the best for the American people. I can understand that. Sometimes I can even support it, depending on the issue. I take it by issue. And me and Graves are, if you've ever listened to this show for a amount of time, you know how me and Graves are always very civil. We've only had a handful of disagreements, I think. Never even on the show, actually. This would have been our first disagreement tonight, probably. I don't know. I've talked to him about it a bit before we went on the show, but of course, I haven't checked my phone since then. I haven't really picked his brain about this, but that's kind of how I trump it up, describe it. I'm a crazy conservative. Graves is a conservative. I wouldn't say it's kind of the definitions are coming hard to come by. Some people call me a libertarian. Some people call me a conservative. I call myself a Jeffersonian conservative. I've recently been told I should have been in the Tea Party movement. It's all over the place. There's really no term for it because conservatism breeds free thought. It breeds free will. It breeds, okay, we disagree, so I'm going to go in this direction, you go in that direction. That's why there's so many parts, I think, to the conservative movement and the overall Republican Party, is because we are very free thinkers. While the Democrats are socialists and communism, so they can all wrap that up in one big bow. But I guess I'm putting it off because, again, I know I'm going to piss off a lot of my viewers here. And this is going to go to the cattle industry. So I don't know if y'all have heard, but big news coming out of the cattle industry and agriculture altogether. And for those who don't know, I am a farmer. I'm a rancher. My family farm has been active and inactive for many years, bless our hearts. But we have been farming in Mississippi since the 1850s, 40s, maybe. Off and on. And our main thing the past century has been cattle. And the big news is going to hurt cattle ranchers. And it goes to this. So I had no idea about any of this. I guess I've been so busy at my farm. We got some interesting stuff happening down there. I have an animal that was pregnant. She gave birth. So I've been dealing with that. And I am a member of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. My farm is. Let me rephrase. I'm not personally. I think my dad is, and I probably should join. But I know my farm is a member for me. And they shared this True Social thing. And I'll just read the quote. Let me pull it up. I have lost it. Of course, I have. That's just a story of my life. There it is. And this is coming from Truth Social. And as I said, we're going to dive into this. The cattle ranchers who I love don't understand that the only reason they're doing so well for the first time in decades is because I put tariffs on cattle coming into the U.S., including a 50% tariff on Brazil. If it wasn't for me, they'd be doing just as they've been doing for the past 20 years terrible. It would be nice if they would understand that, but they also have to get their prices down because the consumer is a big factor in my thinking also. A couple things before I read the Cattlemen Association's response. Cattle ranchers aren't just rolling in it right now. We're doing a bit better than we were under Joe, but Joe's a low mark, and Trump knows that. This is just a crappy episode to have to do, but the truth waits for no one. Talking about getting prices down. The government is the reason the prices are up in the first place. It's not us, the ranchers' fault that beef is high right now. I hate to break it to you. As a farmer, as a rancher, I ain't bringing in money right now because I'm hacking up the beef prices. Nope. The federal government does that because the federal government decided they need to get involved in agriculture. Just like with the Department of Education, you have the Department of Agriculture, which has had some benefits. I'll give them some credit. But again, it's the government. They should not be involved in it in the first place. Here is Trump basically blaming the farmers and ranchers for high meat prices, while not realizing the irony that the Department of Education, while he is criticizing the Department of Education and all the government interfering, is why meat prices are so bad right now. And the promise of the Department of Agriculture, of our government, of Trump, was to help America farmers and to make sure they could live. Because I know how bad it is to be a farmer, especially during the winter. A lot of people don't know that during this time of year for farmers and ranchers, it's a struggle if you're going to get food on the table for your family. And we're doing great. Not with all the small farms I've been seeing closed down. With big ranches that aren't even American ranches. They're owned by these big corporations. Some of them even foreign. And the cattleman's response to this, the reality of this is that the rancher's success is driven by their own hard work. America's cattlemen and women operate in the most competitive marketplaces in the world. U.S. cattle producers are proud to provide the safest, highest quality beef on the earth. We simply ask that the government does not undercut them by importing more Argentinian beef in order to manipulate prices. Again, this is just manipulation. People have mistaken me for being against free market all of a sudden. No, I'm not against free market. Free market is the best. But when you kind of kick something out and then reintroduce it to the mix, it's going to be harmful. Instead of, if I don't know, if there was a thing where you could tell where beef is from, America beef or foreign beef, you leave it up to the consumer to pick which one to support. And there's no major attack on the prices or the consumer or the ranchers. But again, we don't do that. It's been shut down multiple times. It was repealed back in 2015 or 16, I think. And so here we are. And again, this is just more government interference. And I'll talk about this in a minute, but they've been doing this since the Deadgum Depression. And they're shocked that they haven't figured out how to help the agriculture industry. And continue on with the National Cattlemen's Beef Association's response. Cattlemen and women cannot stand behind President Trump while he undercuts the future of our family farms and ranchers, our family farmers and family ranchers by importing foreign beef. It is imperative that President Trump and the Secretary of Agriculture let the cattle markets work themselves out without more government interference. Again, how we got here. Now, that one was a bit in my own words. But continuing, if the administration is truly an ally to the America cattle producers, we call on him to abandon this effort to manipulate the markets and focus instead on completing the promised New World screwworm factory in Texas and make additional investments that protect domestic cattle herds from foreign animal diseases, address the regulatory burdens. The government makes it hard to be a farmer. And again, they're interfering more and more and more. And that's kind of their response. And I do have so much more on this. I'm trying to check the time to make sure I don't go over time again. And Thomas Massey kind of also is what I said earlier with the buying direct from the American farmer consumer. He said that this is not an American first initiative. We do not need this. The U.S. Market flooded from beef from Argentina after the cattle ranchers have taken a beating over the past several years, and we have taken a beating. Bring back country of origin labels, buy directly from American farmers, pass the Prime Act, American First, make America healthy again. That's coming from Thomas Massey. Again, when he kind of heard all this, another report from U.S. Farms. President Trump's latest post on True Social is directed towards cattlemen, saying the only reason they're doing so well in the first place in decades is because I put tariffs on cattle coming from the U.S. President Trump is suggesting earlier this week that purchasing beef from Argentina could help bring down the beef prices. Nearly every cattle group in the USA has come out opposed to this and is drawing strong criticism from American cattlemen, which is true. And I'm trying to find one thing in particular. I have a lot of stuff here that I'm trying to, and as I said, this has kind of just shocked me so much. We had a completely different plan for tonight's episode that we're not. There goes my alarm. That we're not going to be doing now because of all this. I will find it eventually. Where are you? And this is coming from one of me and my friends' conversation on this. The two big reasons beef and grocery prices are so high right now is one, inflation, and two, government regulatory agencies which regulate competition out of the marketplace by creating legal monopolies. Government has destroyed the family farm and localism going back to FDR's New Deals. If the administration wants to fix this, they should cut government spending, shut down federal regulatory agencies, cut taxes, stop creating money out of thin air, stop spending billions that we don't have to foreign governments, and allow free market to fluctuate according to customer demand. That's what should happen. It's not what will happen because no administration is ever going to put an end to the New Deal. Doing so would take too much power away from the government. And that was kind of from him. Me and him talked about it for a while. And he kind of sent me that for tonight's show, kind of a summarization of what we talked about. Another rancher sent this in to me. I do believe this is the first time in my life where I've seen consumers decide that ranchers are the villains. It's a fascinating evolution in thought. I guess I have never met a rancher at 2 a.m. In the pasture who is thinking that their life's purpose is to bring harm to the consumers. I have not noticed any of them in the sick pen walking in a coughing calf who need are walking with a coughing calf who needs medicine. They don't appear to be out on the range when making sure that the windmills are pumping water. Have not caught a sight of them at the banker's office when uh, paying down the operating note and wondering if there'd be enough left to maybe take the family out for a nice supper or put some nicer gifts under the Christmas tree. And this is my own thought here. Ranching is the only business that the goal is to do just successful enough to be able to pass it down to the next generation. We're not in this for money. We're in it because we love the land. We love our jobs. We love being the ranchers, the cattlemen of America. We love it. We take a lot of great honor. I take a lot of great honor with my cattle beef. FDA approved. I sell it in town at the farmer's market. But here I am being the villain. And again, most cattlemen that I know, most ranchers I know, most farmers I know, they can barely take the family out for a nice meal. It is hard to find time to put stuff on the Christmas tree. I just had to pick if I was going to be able to replace my car battery or do something else for my truck that's desperately needed. Heck, the whole reason I'm wearing glasses tonight is because part of that decision also referred to my contacts. I couldn't afford to get my contacts because I had to replace my battery. That's the life I chose, though, and I'm proud of that life. The numbers I've seen, and this is continued from this rancher, the number I've seen thrown around in recent days says ranchers are showing profit, real profit, the kind that allows them to fortify themselves against the inedible. About 2 years out of the last 20, this has been true. So 2 years out of the last 20, they've made real profit. But now we're the villains. Mostly it comes to the assertion that we are the ones who set your prices at the grocery store. I've tried to answer this hundreds of times in just the last few days. People who think we have made their beef expensive. No, your government has. That one's mine. The rest have come from those who believe uh, ill will is suited for someone who supposedly votes votes one way or another. I'm truly astonished by this behavior. Their generations from now, it will make an interesting case study what the consumers will say as they watch videos and read words that Americans who seemingly are today's least favorite people. Thank goodness the cattle doesn't care. Yeah, amen. Thank goodness the cattle doesn't care. And again, I've been talking about the government, talking about the government, talking about the government. And I'll get into that after this quick commercial break because I didn't realize the time. So we'll be right back. So we're back. Now, the tariffs have played a huge role in this, and I do think the tariffs was a good thing. I do. Tariffs used to be the best way to pay off debt. The government had the best way for the government to bring in money without having to tax its citizens. I believe in tariffs. But you have to understand when you kick a hornet's nest, it's going to sting you. We went back and forth with countries like China, not just on car parts, but soybeans and other stuff, and it's naturally raised the prices of everything. And now everything are with the goal that it will also lower the prices eventually, which is a good goal, and I think will happen. But at the same time, we understood that this was going to raise prices. When everybody came out, when Graves and I talked about this, and when Trump talked about this, he talked about we were all going to have to toughen up for a bit because it's going to be a hard couple months and maybe even a year where prices are going to skyrocket because of these tariffs with the goal, and I don't know if I've said this well because I'm kind of all over the place tonight, with the goal that it will lower prices eventually for all these goods. That includes beef. But all of a sudden now, it's too high. Well, that's not our fault. You're the one that did the tariffs. It was your idea. You said we're going to have to tough it out. But now you're trying to tell everybody, well, it's the cattleman's fault. No, it's not. So don't blame the farmers for raising the prices because we don't have a say in that. No farmer is a millionaire. The government has successfully almost killed the agriculture in this country anyway. You look at family farms, you look at big farms, you look at these foreign farms coming in, you look at the fact that, Bill Gates is one of the biggest landowners in Mississippi, not ranchers. You look at all these statistics. All I've seen is these almost monopoly ranches that are owned by these big companies, putting the smaller farms like myself out of business, even hurting some of the bigger names, hurting them like the 4-6's ranch. It hurts us all. And the government hasn't lifted a finger. They've nearly killed it. And then they're shocked that, oh, we don't really have any farmers here. Well, no crap, Sherlock. You've nearly killed the industry. And instead of a free market, the government is telling us what goods should be and then get mad when the good prices are high, like we've done it. No, your meddling has done it to yourselves. Price fixing does not work. Putting small farms out of business or foreign farms does not work. Blaming the farmers themselves when the government has been interfering with the industry since the Depression. I'm sorry, President Trump, you were completely wrong on this. Now, again, he imported eggs from England. The prices went down. It's mellowed out again. The consumer of beef the egg people, the egg industry, the chicken industry is good. As I said, I'm trying to have faith here. But I can't let it slide what he's been saying, again, acting like it's us. It's not us. And, I mean, I got some numbers for you. Let's see here. Where is it? There you are. This is coming from the National Cattlemen's Beef Association again. Today, the National Cattlemen's Beef Association has responded to President Trump's comments suggesting the agriculture beef is solution to Argentinian beef is the solution to lowering beef prices. Our farmers and ranchers are concerned that rewarding Argentina with this expansion or expanded access to the U.S. market harms American cattlemen while also interfering with the free market, which it does. Because again, when you throw in something like this, it's going to hurt the free market. If we always had them in the market, and again, you had the American buy directly from American farmers thing, I'm going to go blank. You would have been fine, but here we are. The family farmers and ranchers have numerous concerns with importing more Argentinian beef to lower prices for consumers. This plan only creates chaos at a crucial time of year for the American cattle producers, which it does. This is a tough part of the year, while doing nothing to lower grocery prices. Additionally, Argentina has deeply unbalanced trade relationship with the U.S. In the past 5 years, Argentina has sold more than $801 million worth of beef to the U.S. markets. By comparison, the U.S. has sold just over $7 million worth of American beef to Argentina. Argentina. I don't know why I keep saying that. Argentina also has a history of foot to mouth disease, which is, if brought to the U.S., would decimate our livestock production. Although beef prices have increased, consumer demand for the beef remains strong because of the work American cattle producers have done to improve the quality and safety of U.S. beef. We call on President Trump and members of Congress to let the market work itself out rather than interfering in ways that do nothing but harm rural America. The National Cattlemen Beef Association has represented American cattle producers since 1898, and that's just kind of going into what they do. And yeah, look at those numbers. Look how lopsided that is for the American ranchers. I would be a bit pissed myself. Not even going to lie. I would. I'd be livid. And I'm about to be even more livid. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we'll get back, we're going to talk about the one that I 100% disagree with Trump about. Again, this one's not going to be too hard because at least with the cattle, I have some faith in Trump. Even though I think it might hurt my people, my fellow cattlemen for a while. I think sooner or later it's going to help with beef prices. Trying to think about all Americans here. But again, I just couldn't stand by while people have blamed the cattlemen. It's not our fault. But this next one really pisses me off. So stand by as Trump has declared war on actual conservatives. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Conservative Colonel podcast. I'm your host, Harrison Dawes, and I have to defend some fellow Jeffersonians tonight. I was going to do this episode a while back, but it's just gotten so out of hand that I figured if I was going to piss off half my audience with the cattleman story, I might as well piss them off with this story. And this one I have no problem with doing because it's absolutely the worst mistake Trump has done in office, in my opinion. It is the dumbest thing I've seen Trump do in office. I love Trump. Happily voted for him. If I could go back in time, I'd vote for him again. And I'm not going to say this is going to go down as Trump's biggest mistake in office, but I think it's going to go down as his dumbest mistake in the conservative movement. I think this is going to either kill the conservative movement in Washington for a couple years, or maybe we fight to live another day. We'll see. Because if this goes through, I do not see Republicans winning the next major presidential election. And even if they did, there wouldn't be actual support for conservative change like they need. Because if this actually happens, which Trump is trying to do, he's trying to kill his own movement, it'd be worthless. I've been saying it since Trump got elected. Trump can't do this alone. It is our job to elect conservatives to help him, to give him the material to get back to an actual conservative golden age, which we haven't had in a long time. But Trump seems to be shooting himself in the foot. And I'm talking about with Senator Rand Paul, in my opinion, the most conservative, the most Republican, or actually, I won't insult him. The most conservative member of our national level, Thomas Macy. And there are people calling him a rhino on Fox's newsstand right now. I went to Fox to try to get some information. And my gosh, they're calling him a rhino. They're ignoring major factors. Someone's like, well, Rand Paul endorsed Mitch McConnell. I was like, yeah, when he was a freshman in Congress, when he was just starting out, and then later said that he did it when no one was running. He wasn't really wanting to. He just did it. They both were from the same state. And let's not forget that Trump also endorsed Mitch McConnell. Let me even pull it up. I have the full quote. And again, we all know that Mitch McConnell is the king of the rhinos. And Mitch McConnell, and he was endorsed. Mitch McConnell, and this is coming from Donald Trump. Senator Mitch McConnell always delivers for the people of Kentucky, who will hopefully reelect their powerful Senate Majority Leader. He has my complete and total endorsement. And you'll see those words. He has my complete and total endorsement when it comes to rhinos that Trump has endorsed multiple times. Heck, the only major product we have in our store right now for the show is a picture of Mitch McConnell that says "Make Conservatives Great Again" on the shirt. Why did we make that shirt? Because Mitch McConnell is not a conservative. He is a rhino. He is the architect of a rhino. If you open up the book and look up rhino, you will more than likely see Mitch McConnell's face because he has been a great example of it. And here's President Trump endorsing him. That's not what I voted for. Trump promised me he was going to drain the swamp. I didn't expect Trump to get in the Tea Party people, my people, the Jeffersonian people. That was up to me. That was up to the rest of us that started that movement in the early 2000s and need to get it started again. But Trump did say he was going to help us out getting rid of a lot of the problem and the cancer in the Republican Party, which is the rhinos. But he doesn't. He's endorsing them. He endorsed Roger Wicker. He's endorsed Mitch McConnell. And I can't even believe some of the other people he's endorsed. But Senator Rand Paul is backing Representative Thomas Macy against a Trump-endorsed primary challenger because Trump is going after him. And I just still can't believe this is happening. And this is coming from someone I got on Twitter. Trump's strategy seems to be eliminating the strongest, most constitutional, most liberal, liberty-oriented member of Congress. Anyone standing up to the establishment and challenging the status quo draws his ire to be replaced with a yes man who simply follows his order. Because again, if this had to do with him being a rhino, there wouldn't be a problem because Thomas Macy isn't a rhino. In my opinion, Trump is wanting people that would just vote yes for him because Trump thinks he is the best. And Trump is one of the best. But this isn't a yes type of government. You don't get yes men in. That's when you get problems in. And it'd be great for Trump because Trump is making a lot of great decisions. But look at the cattle incident. I don't think that's a good decision. If we had a bunch of yes men, it would just be done. But here we are. And I think the No King protest is stupid. I think the Democrat is the party that actually would like a king, like a dictator. But that is very monarch-like of Trump. I'm just going to go ahead and admit the irony. Trump wanting to kick out the most conservative member of Congress simply because Thomas Macy stands up for the stricter interpretation of the Constitution and has said that we shouldn't be spending money because we don't have any money. The Republicans have tried to add $2 trillion to the debt with some of Trump's plans. Now they've cut a couple billion, but they're still going to add trillions. Now, before you liberals that watch the show get any happy, don't get me confused. I am a conservative. I'm a Trump supporter. Y'all want to add 3 trillion. So why don't you back off? This is between me and the conservatives tonight. I just can't believe it, you know. This is it blows my mind. And if you took a minute to look up Thomas Macy's voting record and the bills he supported, you'll see he's the most conservative representative in DC. He isn't the problem. The problem is we don't have people in the House of the Senate filled with people like him. Trump has done a lot of good things since getting back into office. There's no question about that. He's pushed back against the woke agenda, stood up for free speech, and brought a more America First tone back to this country. But he's also added $2 trillion in debt in just 2025 alone. Now, he's not doing it alone. The Democrats have helped. But we went from 26 trillion at the end of 2024 to just over 28 trillion by October. This is one of the fastest increases in modern U.S. history, not counting major crises like wars and COVID. And again, I love Trump, and I'm not one of these people that say Trump is the devil, you know, but I am going to be critical of my leader. Why? Because that's what conservatism is. It's not question. It's not loyalty without questions. That's unchecked power. And that's not what this party's about. I'm sure I'm going to get ripped apart this episode, that I'm a rhino, that I'm not a real conservative, that the people are going to start boycotting the show. Fine. You aren't real conservatives anyway. If that's what you do, you belong in the Democratic Party. Go back and join your communist friends. I am tired of conservatives attacking actual conservatives while we are surrounded by rhinos and communists wearing an R on their chest and saying they're conservative. You vote for them, you donate them money, they kill the Constitution, they kill this government to the point that when my grandchildren get here, they're screwed. And when a real conservatives challenge them, you throw a fit, you throw a tantrum. You say, well, if we don't vote for him, a Democrat will get in. He's a Democrat anyway. Or, well, he's been honest. No, he hasn't. And this isn't talking about Trump right now. This is talking about the Republican people as a whole right now. I am coming after y'all because of the just god-awful comments I've seen on this. You are attacking the most conservative man in Congress because Trump told you to. I'm sorry. I didn't realize conservatism was a dictatorship. It's not. You can disagree with the man in power and still support him. I still support Donald Trump, just like Rand Paul and Thomas Macy did during the January 6th hearings. They supported him during the Russian conspiracy that Russia interfered with the election because they wanted a person they could control. They wanted Trump, and Rand Paul stood by Trump then because I know deep down Trump is America first. Make America great again. He loves those words. He means those words. I support Donald Trump as my president. But I will not stand by and allow him to attack the conservative movement. This movement is much bigger than one person. It dates back to the founding. And yeah, it's had people that you look at it and you put them in the conservative movement. Again, Ronald Reagan, Thomas Jefferson, and those men aren't without their flaws. Everybody is a great conservative until they come up with a decision that it really doesn't fit conservatism, but they know it's the right decision. And I'm not saying that I support that because you obviously turned your back on conservatism. I'm going to criticize them. I love Ronald Reagan. I have 3 or 4 Ronald Reagan books. He's a hero of mine, but I could criticize him. I could criticize Thomas Jefferson, who is one of my biggest heroes. I can criticize myself all dead gum day with my Clark Kent glasses right now. You have to be honest in this movement. People see through it. And the fact these attacks are happening sickens me, and it pisses me off. We are no closer to balancing the budget than we started. The Republicans have added, and this is not Trump, I'm saying the Republicans have added $2 trillion to the deficit, while Democrat wants to add another 3. Go effing figure. $38 trillion is what we're at now. $38 trillion. Thomas Massey and Rand Paul endorsed Trump from my side. So when we decided to get the conservative movement behind Trump, it took some endorsements. Now, Trump came out on fire in 2016. He came out on fire 2020. He came out on fire 2024. But something you have to know that my side of the conservative movement, the constitutionalists, the constitutional conservatives, Jeffersonian, whatever the heck you want to call us, we are very picky in who we support. And we have shown power to influence elections. I'm not saying we're just a massive part of the party and you have to have us, but we've been instrumental. Thomas Massey and Rand Paul endorsed Trump, letting my side know, yes, vote for him. They were on his sides when the Democrats wanted to jail him. Rand even did rallies to help bring in donations and to get him elected. And now Trump has abandoned them because I don't know. I really don't. I don't understand this. And I'm going to quote one of the most conservative people of today, Ron Paul. It looks like President Trump has decided that's empire first rather than America first. These two are not the same at all. Empire first means continuing in the endless wars that have nothing to do with America. It means bailing out Argentina at the expense of the American farmer and taxpayer. It means trying to keep the ideal alive that every inch of the planet must be governed under the thumb of the U.S. federal government. This ideology has been running on fumes for decades. The question with President Trump, can we pivot back to America first before total bankruptcy hits? And that's what we wanted Trump to do. That's what I voted for. That's the Donald Trump I voted for. And as we continue, Trump has released this tweet. What ever happened to Senator Rand Paul? He was never great. He went really bad. I got him elected twice in the great Commonwealth of Kentucky, but he just never votes positively for the Republican Party. He's a nasty little guy, much like Congressman Thomas Massey, a.k.a. Rand Paul Jr., also of Kentucky, which I run 3 times in a massive landslide a sick wacko who refuses to vote for our great Republican Party. Make America great again, or America first. It's really weird. A couple things. First off, the great Republican Party, our party is not great. The Republican Party has never really been great. We've had a couple people that stand out as actual conservatives, while the rest have been rhinos since the founding of the Conservative Party. The Conservative Party has never been, or the Republican Party has never been great. It's just the conservative movement has nowhere else to go. We definitely don't fit in with the Democrats. I'm just being honest. The MAGA movement is Trump's movement. That just means do whatever Trump says. But if you're saying America first, these two gentlemen are the most conservative people out there. Yeah, they do that. And also, Trump saying he helped Rand Paul, I have to point out, Rand Paul had his election in 2010, 6 years before Trump even ran. I don't know what Trump is talking about there. And he was reelected to the Senate in 2016. But during that time, he was also running for president against Trump, and those two were going at it. So Trump wasn't helping him in 2016. Now, 2022, maybe. I haven't looked up endorsements for that time period. I haven't checked if Trump did anything for Rand Paul. So really, he could maybe say he helped him once. Rand has supported Trump more often and has been one of his biggest vocal defenders. But Rand Paul, as with most Jeffersonian conservatives, stick with the principles that we have over the party. If we believe we shouldn't be doing this because the Constitution says we shouldn't, we won't. And he is doing what he also thinks is great for the Commonwealth of Kentucky. So, again, I honestly don't know what Trump was doing with this. Again, I'm one of the biggest Trump supporters. I have no idea what this is. I really, really don't. He did not get him elected twice. And Rand Paul, as I said earlier, stood by Trump during the Russian lies, the January 6th stuff, while a lot of the conservatives bailed on Trump. And now he's attacking, and this is a quote from President Trump again. Third-rate Congressman Thomas Macy, a weak and pathetic rhino from the great Commonwealth of Kentucky, a place I love and won big 6 times, must be thrown out of office ASAP. I hope Ed gets into the race against Massey, unlike the lightweight Massey, who's totally ineffective and a loser who has failed us so badly. Captain Ed Galloway is a winner who will not let you down. He should he decide to challenge Macy, Captain Ed has my complete and total endorsement. Run, Ed, run. And there's that sentence again. Complete and total endorsement. You said that with Roger Wicker. He's a rhino. Probably the worst in Mississippi, only behind Delbert Hoseman. And you've endorsed Delbert, who told you to jump in the Gulf. And now Trump is using that same sentence, to endorse, of all people, Lindsey Graham. He is doing he's saying all this about Macy and Paul while running a fundraiser for Lindsey Graham. And just for reference, in 2016, Lindsey Graham called President Trump the election for the Republican nominee a race to the bottom. Said that Trump is trying to be relevant. Condemned Trump during January 6th. And has heavily criticized Trump post-election activities after the 2024 campaign. And now he's called some of Trump's pardons of the January 6th people a mistake. But then he will support Trump's agenda. So Lindsey Graham is just playing the batting field. That's all Lindsey's doing. He's not really a Trump supporter, but he understands Trump has swing, and Trump should know this. Again, he should know that about Roger Wicker. But he's doing a fundraiser for Lindsey Graham. I don't understand. I just can't understand. This is not conservatism. And he's doing this since you don't vote it by party, then you're out. That's the Democrats. That's not us. People, if you're voting for a party, if you're voting for a cult, you need to get out of this party. You are not welcome here. Go take Tate, go take Delbert, and them rhinos will ship your happy little tail to Democratic Wonderland. Go to California. You'll be much more at home. And to add to this, the person, Captain Ed, is a donor of Lindsey Graham. He is a donor. And, this is just something, let's see here. Thomas Macy actually discovered this when Trump tried to get him a challenge. The hack Trump just endorsed to run against me is a Lindsey Graham donor. Again, a massive, massive rhino. And although Lindsey Graham has become unpopular in MAGA Republicans who have put pure obedience to Trump above all principles like limited government, financial responsibility, and non-interfering foreign policy and abiding the Constitution, Massey has built a large national following of people who think he represents the conservative ideal. He's the poster boy right now, especially on the national level. Trump's launch of the anti-Pacey PAC has served those followers to open up their checkbooks, with Macy posting his best ever best ever fundraising quarter, racking up $768,000 from just July to September. And then Thomas Macy also put this up. Me and Ed ran against Ed rants against a senator in 2024. Here are the results. Macy 4,053 in Shelby County, Ed 2,276 in Henry County. Macy got 1,262. Ed got 619. With Thomas saying, "Has anyone showed Trump these results yet?" And I have to ask, have they? What has happened to my president? This is the most disappointed I've ever been with President Trump in the roughly decade, or closing in on a decade, he's been active in politics. This is the most. I have been upset before, but I am generally just disappointed. I told that to Graves before I went on. I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm heartbroken with all this and just don't know anymore. And I'm going to end with this. Thomas Macy and Rand Paul are adhering to the proper role of government as outlined in the Constitution that every elected official in DC sworn to uphold. It's staggering to think how many people oppose this, opposition to their philosophy is indirectly against limited government and traditional conservative. It's mind-blowing. It is mind-blowing. And that's why I'm going to leave off tonight. As I said, I was going to attack some liberals tonight. I was going to have a good time with y'all. And this happened. I have to tell the truth. This is it. My name is Harrison Dawes. I'm a Jeffersonian conservative. I'm a member of the Tea Party movement. I'm a financial conservative. I am a constitutional conservative, whatever you want to call me. A rhino, probably now. But these are real conservative values that someone who I respect and still support, mind you, has decided not to follow recently. And it hurts, but it has to be said because Trump needs help sometimes seeing this. And we are his guide. It is up to us to stand up with Trump and let him know that we could do better and Trump needs to do better. So that's it tonight. That's all I got. Tank is empty. God bless America and God bless Mississippi.